Hello, welcome to the Bakwas channel for self-paced tutorials on First Tech Challenge. This video introduces Sketch in Onshape, which is the essential step in constructing CAD models. This tutorial is a simple introduction to Sketch. The key topics in this tutorial are starting a sketch, creating sketch entities, sketch constraints, completing a sketch, and sketch tools. To start a sketch, select a plane or planar face. In the toolbar, click the Sketch command. It is highly recommended that you rotate the sketch plane. Right-click the plane and select Normal from Context menu. Use the shortcut key N. The following entities can be created through a sketch: lines and rectangles, circles and arcs, construction geometry, slot, and polygons. One can create lines and rectangles as connected or individual line segments. You can either use the corners or a center point rectangles. You can exit the command by clicking the command again or pressing the escape key. To create circles and arcs, you can use the center point and 3-point circles. For arcs, you can use 3 points, tangent, and center point arcs. You can create construction geometry to begin with or change existing geometry to construction. Use the shortcut Q key to toggle the construction. You can use slot to create construction lines and arcs to define the center line of a slot. You define the slots of the same diameter together to define an equal relationship. Polygons are created with an inscribed or circumscribed circle. Move the mouse to the right or up to increase the side count, or move the mouse towards the left or down to decrease the number of sides. You can use constraints in Onshape through inference. There are several different kinds of constraints: coincident, horizontal, vertical, and equal. There are several ways to using constraints. You can use inference to automatically apply constraints as you sketch. Hover over an entity to wake up its inferences. Click the checkbox in the sketch dialog to show all constraints. Hover over an entity to show its constraints. Automatic inference can be applied to entities within the active sketch or entities of the face the sketch plane is on. Turn off automatic inference by holding down the Shift key. Hover over entities to wake up automatic inferencing. The coincident constraint serves many uses. It can make lines collinear. The points can be made vertical or horizontal to each other. Some of the common constraints are concentric, tangent, parallel, perpendicular, and midpoint. You can add dimensions while sketching or add them afterwards. The first dimension applied scales the entire sketch. Add dimension leader lines to the circumference of the circles. Let's look at completing a sketch by working on a basic sketch. To complete the sketch, click the green checkmark to accept and save it. There is a grace period of 10 seconds to restore a sketch after accidentally clicking the red cross. Here is a basic sketching exercise to practice using lines, circles, and construction geometry. You can apply constraints and dimensions to create a fully defined sketch. Create a new document. Set the workspace unit to millimeters. Begin the sketch on the top plane. Reorient camera to view normal to sketch plane. You can use the shortcut key NNP for this purpose. Draw the overall shape of the sketch using the diagram as a guide. Use inferencing to apply constraints where applicable. Use constraints, horizontal and vertical. Notice that all vertical lines on the right have equal length. Add the first dimension. Notice that the entire sketch will scale accordingly. Add two circles of equal size. Add two dimensions for the circles to locate the position and the size. Complete the sketch by clicking the green check mark in the context menu. Obtain the area of the orange region in the illustration of the sketch below. Use the Measure button at the bottom right hand of the window to estimate the area that you have just highlighted. Hopefully, the number will be the same as shown in the slide. Some of the sketch tools are Sketch Trim, Extend and Split, additional sketch tools, sketch points, sketch text, use, and sketch imprinting. Trim is a useful but simple way to clean up unnecessary sketch geometry. It is not needed to create a single sketch region, and often there is no need to trim. Extend entities to close profiles in a sketch, and the opposite is to split entities to create separate entities at the split point. Some additional sketch tools are to create fillets at small corners and to create offset chains in entities. Finally, there is the ellipse command that is available too. Midpoints of lines and arcs can be inferred by hovering close to the center of the entity and clicking when the midpoint constraint displays. You can create points to define the location of holes, create planes, curves, or other types of entities. Sketch text engraves or embosses text onto a part. The text fills the sketch rectangle. Sizing and moving the rectangle adjusts the text. Right-click the text region to edit the text. The Use Sketch tool projects edges, faces, or sketch entities onto the active sketch. It defines relationships between new entities and the source. If the source is changed, then the projected entities change too. Sketch imprinting creates selectable regions where the sketch overlaps with the face of existing geometry. There is a toggle option available for sketch imprinting. The intermediate sketching exercise practices sketching with lines, arcs, circles, and rectangles. You can use the construction geometry to mirror sketch entities. You create sketch constraints to fully define the sketch. To start the exercise, create a new document. Set workspace length unit to millimeters. Begin a sketch on the front plane. Sketch a vertical construction line with the bottom endpoint coincident to the origin. Sketch a horizontal line with the right endpoint coincident to the origin. Sketch a vertical line from the left endpoint of the horizontal line. Ensure all constraints from the above steps have been applied. Sketch a three-point arc by placing the two endpoints first. The third click will place the arc. Use coincident constraint to select the endpoint of the existing vertical line. The top endpoint should not be vertical to the bottom. Use the mirror entities command. First, select the vertical construction line as the mirror line. Then select three entities to the left of the origin. Deselect the three entities for subsequent operations. Add a tangent arc. Select the endpoints of the existing arcs and set the tangent sketch constraints to complete the arc. Add coincident sketch constraint between the center of the newly created arc and the top endpoint of the construction line. Add the dimensions shown in the adjacent figure using the dimension tool. Offset the top arc by 40 millimeters inside. Sketch a vertical line as shown in the adjacent figure. Add a tangent arc as shown in the adjacent figure that is tangent to the offset arc and the vertical line. Mirror the tangent arc and the line about the construction line. Confirm that mirrored entities have the requisite constraints. Sketch another tangent arc by connecting the bottom endpoints of the two vertical lines. Ensure tangent constraint at both ends of the new arc. Draw a center point rectangle using any point on the construction line as shown in the adjacent figure. Modify the dimensions using the data on the adjacent figure. After all the lines have turned from blue to black, complete the sketch by clicking the green check mark. Select the orange sketch region. Estimate the area using the measure button at the bottom right corner of the page. The area of the orange sketch region is shown in the slide. This tutorial introduced basic concepts for Sketch. It demonstrated two exercises, basic and intermediate. This presentation was prepared with assistance on special effects from Sufy Isma at Gmail, Onshape for the tutorial. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the free open source software from Kdenlive for nonlinear editing, LibreOffice for documentation, OBS Studio for recordings, and of course Ubuntu for the platform services. Also to my family, my teachers, colleagues, and subscribers, a simple thank you is wholly inadequate for the journey through the years. Nevertheless, thank you again to everyone on this list for the encouragement, support, and understanding to help me to continue doing what I like doing, that is, to assist in a very small way to make more productive use of computer technologies. That's all, folks. Thanks for taking the time to view this presentation. Would love to hear from you with your feedback. You are always welcome to be critical in any which way you can. Until next time, bye for now.